Hey students, it's Miss Tron. I wanted to tell my virtual students all about a fundraiser we are doing for the PTA, the Parent Teacher Organization. It's through a website called Square One Art. Today what I'm going to teach you how to do is to draw a heart and then either to paint it in or to detail it with marker. If you want to participate in this lesson, I suggest starting with a square piece of paper. So you can take an 8.5 computer paper and just turn it into a square. But what you can do after you're completed with your art is to upload it to squareoneart.com. And what happens then is your art can be put on various products like mugs and keychains, t-shirts, masks, aprons, all kinds of unique products. And a portion of that money is going to go to support the PTA. So first of all, I just want to talk to you about the shapes and lines we're using today. So one thing we're working with is a geometric shape called a heart. Remember, all geometric shapes have names. So a heart is definitely a geometric shape. So we're going to start with a heart. We're also going to use two of our lines. We're going to use a spiral line. And a spiral line, I always tell kids, looks like a snail shell or a cinnamon bun. And we're also going to be using some broken lines. So what I'd like you to do right now is get out your paper. I'm using one of the official Square One paper, but if you're working at home, you don't have to do that. You can just draw your art and upload it to the site. I will post some information about that if you're interested in doing it, okay? So here I am at the bottom of my paper, the bottom of my square of paper. And what I'm going to do first is and let me shut this down too. I'm going to go to the bottom of my paper, and just about an inch above the bottom, I'm going to do a dot, okay? And from there, I'm going to draw 2 diagonal lines, making a capital V. Now, when I draw these 2 diagonal lines, they're just going to go up a little bit further than halfway on my paper, on my square, if you're working with a square. So I'm going to do one like this, and I'm going to do one like that. Now, the way I teach the kids in first grade and kindergarten at my school to draw a heart is right between the tops of a V, do a little dot in the center. Okay? Now, simply start at one side and do a curve around to the dot and do a curve around to the other dot. So now I have a lovely heart shape. So now what I could do is take some markers to outline mine, or I could use a black permanent marker, if that's okay with your family for you to use a permanent marker. Right now you want to decide if you're going to paint it or if you're going to use markers. Or I suppose if you only have crayons, you can have crayons. But the people at Square One Art say your art will reproduce best if you're using paints or markers. Crayons and colored pencils are a little faint. But anyway, so if you're going to do a painted heart, my suggestion is to outline the heart and then do black spirals through the center. So that's one way you can do it if you want to paint it. But I am going to use markers because that's what I have on hand. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick a color to outline my heart. And I'm just kind of really going around to make sure that everything can be seen really well. So that's my first thing I'm going to do. The next thing I'm going to do is take my colors, and I'm going to start to make different colored spirals all over my heart. Now, if I'm not doing that, I can just do it in black. What I find easiest to do is, of course, uncap the marker and put the lid on the back, but when I'm working with a marker, instead of having to constantly uncap and cap the markers, I'll just start by drawing a few different spirals, about 5 or so all over the heart. By the way, there are 2 ways to make a spiral. One way to make a spiral is to start with a circle and then just make it get smaller and smaller. So that's one way to make a spiral. Another way to make a spiral is start with a small dot and make it go larger and larger. So either way that works for you. So I'm here working with this bright pink, and I'm just bringing it all over my paper. Okay, so that's enough of that color. So I will move on to another color. And now I guess I'm going to use blue. So I'm just filling this art up with all different colors of spirals. And I'm really trying to make sure that to create a lot of variety, that's an art word, meaning difference. So by making lots of different colors of spirals, I'll be having a lot of variety on my heart. I'm just going to make that go everywhere. I hope you enjoy this lesson. Drawing a spiral can feel very relaxing, actually. This can be very calming at times. Okay, so now I'm moving on to another color here. Let's see what I got in this box. I wanted to find a green. So now I'm just going to go through some green here and there. Yeah, those are probably, I shouldn't have put the same colors all close together, but sometimes that happens and it's okay. It'll still be beautiful no matter what. Let's see what other color I'll use. I guess I'll go in with some of this bright pink as well. So I'm trying to find if there's any spot that needs a heart. I guess it's looking pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is go through with a broken line. And I'm just going to pick one color at a time, and I'm going to bring it around. Now, if you're working with the painted option, get out your watercolor paint and just paint your heart in one color. And then you can just stripe around with other colors. If I was painting with watercolors, I do one color around, I'd rinse my bit brush, and then take another color around. So now I'm into doing some lines around. So I guess I'll start with blue. So it's kind of as if I'm making little hairs or little whiskers, just little lines, little broken lines that are coming off of my heart and going all the way around. Now when I get back to the beginning, I'm gonna cap my marker and pick a new color. I guess I'll move on to green next. And I'm just gonna go around again. So this is a very simple one-day lesson to do the square one art. For all those teachers that other art teachers that might be working on this, not just my students, if I have any art teachers tuning in to this YouTube video, I was able to do this with my in-person classes in about 40 minutes or so with the kindergarten and the first grade. So the kindergarten and the first grade were both doing either the painted or the marker heart. Okay, so I'm just going through. I'm choosing to use the hues. The hues are the rainbow colors. Other than the pink. Pink is not a rainbow color, but hues are Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. So you'll probably notice you're going to fill in the top of your paper first. But have no fear. Even if you can't go all the way around again, once we start filling up at the top, we can keep working on the bottom. So now I'm going to go around with my red. And it looks here at the top that I'm starting to fill up the space. So now what I'm going to start doing is just doing some lines in my corners. So now I'm going to go through with that. Just making sure that everything is filled in. And very, very colorful. We want this to be super duper vibrant if you're participating in the Square One program. So there you have it. Remember, please go to the square1art.com site. You'll see a little blue button in the upper right hand corner that says upload. From there, it's very self-explanatory. You can, if you're tuning in from Twin Lakes, you can look up our school and you can upload it to the site. And then eventually you'll be able to get your art printed on your whatever object that you want it printed on. It does cost something, but remember, this is a fundraiser for the PTA. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. And my Twin Lakes students, you can either upload this to the Square One site or send me a photo of your work. It's up to you. I hope you had a good time creating with me today. I had a lovely time with you.